Suzanne Leonelli. I'm the CEO for Root for Kids. Root for Kids is a local nonprofit, and we serve children in Washington County and along the Arizona Strip. We focus on pregnant women and children up to the age of 5 who are facing adversity. This adversity takes many faces, such as domestic violence, sexual abuse, neglect, homelessness, developmental delays and disabilities, a child who is in a home where there's mental health or substance abuse. We know based on research that children who are at risk and do not receive these early education programs and resources are more likely to drop out of school and need remedial services. They're more likely to be involved in high-risk behavior.
And as a child's brain is being wired, so to speak, I think scientists are recognizing all the time that we have with children a window of opportunity.
By the age of 3, a child's brain is developed at 80% of its capacity, and by age 5, 90% of that child's brain is already developed. So we have this very small window of opportunity to support parents in ensuring that all of their children have a strong start in life.
And if we can take advantage of that, it just becomes really critical for their future, both academically and socially.
So we are the Davis family. I'm Joy. This is my husband, Nick. This is our youngest, Elsie, and this is our daughter, Emery. And our daughter, Emery, has been a part of TLC, which is now Root for Kids, for 2.5 years doing early intervention. She was born with a disease called Sturge-Weber syndrome, which is a disease that affects the brain and causes seizures and some learning deficits. And so we got involved with early intervention when Emery was 5 months old, and it really just helped her progress and helped her kind of recognize her own potential. And she did really well with it. She loved it. I remember our first meeting, how much I realized they believed in my daughter's abilities and how much they believed that she would be able to do great things with her life. And that was something that I didn't even know if I believed yet. I was a new mom, and I had a daughter that had already been on a life flight, and she had this really horrible disease. And to have someone and a whole team of people come into my life ready and willing to help us and to help her discover her own potential, that was probably one of the greatest gifts I could be given as a parent, was just the ability to see her potential and to see the potential that I had to be her mom.
So whether we're working with a mother who struggles with postpartum depression and has an inability to attach with her baby, or we're working with a family who lives in a $500,000 home and has a child with a developmental delay or disability, the common thread is our families are struggling. Our families are hurting. And as a community, it's our responsibility to respond.
So Emery was having these seizure episodes. They weren't very often, but when she would have a seizure, it was like an immediate life flight up to primary children's. And once her body started seizing, she couldn't stop. We met with her doctors, and we decided it was time to do this brain surgery that would hopefully, the plan was to be able to separate the two hemispheres, the sick and seizing hemisphere from the healthy hemisphere. And that by doing that, it would stop her from having these seizures, because at that point her seizures were life-threatening, and we'd almost lost her a couple times from them. And our team at TLC was just always there. So we then decided to do this surgery, and as the surgery got closer, we decided to make some t-shirts for some of our friends and family. And Rihanna found out about these t-shirts, and I didn't even know that she had ordered some until Emery had her surgery, and unfortunately she ended up having a stroke after her surgery. And a few days later, I got a text message from Rihanna, and they were all wearing their t-shirts, and it was our whole team. And they all had these t-shirts that said Emery's name on them. And we have this thing we call Emerys Army. And so they had the t-shirts that had the Emerys Army logo. And it just came at like such a welcome time, because we were feeling a little out of our element. We weren't at home anymore. We were up at primary children's, and we'd had this devastating outcome. And just to feel all that love from back at home from her team, just I think meant everything to us.
And it's one of the things that your organization does so well, is to reach out to those families and provide those resources.
You guys really, you believe in these kids, you're there for these kids, you're there for these families, but it also provides them with a really good foundation for the rest of their life.
Root for Kids has been around since 1993. We have 26 years of serving this community. In those 26 years, we've served over 16,000 children.
And if you look back at the founding of your organization, the recognition that there was a need in our community to address the needs of those families and those children, it becomes a community-wide effort, not just family by family trying to deal with those issues.
So Root for Kids has really positioned ourselves to be the support system for these families, to help them when they're struggling, to provide the guidance and education, and to be there to root for the parent as well as the child. We know that there's not one approach that works for everybody. So here at Root for Kids, we have a comprehensive early childhood development system in place where we can do home visiting, we can focus on health, mental health, music and play studio, all those elements that are so critical for optimal child development.
I think when we talk about Southern Utah and being a wonderful place, we can talk about the natural scenery, the beauty, the access to recreation, all that. But one of the things that we sometimes don't really value like we should is the quality of the people here who reach out and support each other.
St. George is one of the fastest growing cities in the nation. And along with that growth also comes challenges. Currently, we serve about 700 families a month that come through our organization, and we know that we're not even reaching a tenth of the kids that need our services. There's nothing worse than to be the CEO and have to turn a parent away because we're underfunded. We as parents and as community members hold the key to our children's success. Not only are we investing in our children's future, but we're also investing in the future teachers, our future law enforcement, our future legislators. So we as a community are benefiting greatly from this investment early on. By partnering with us to nurture strong beginnings, you can make a lasting impact in the life of a child and our community.
Should we do 3 cheers for Root for Kids? Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!